Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Will and welcome to Copper Jacket TV. Hopefully everybody out there is doing well. You know, when you go to the range, you kind of expect to be around like-minded people who value our rights like we do. People with similar interests who you would hope would never rat you out or snitch on you to the ATF or law enforcement, but unfortunately that's just not reality. The reality is there are people out there who get a thrill out of making other people's lives miserable and won't hesitate to ruin yours just because they disagree with you. Well, unfortunately, one guy learned that the hard way when his own range allegedly ratted him out to law enforcement for doing nothing more than using an FRT. So let's go ahead and talk about what's going on here, because this dude is looking at some serious prison time and people are calling for a boycott of the range, which we will name in this video. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what's going on here. So I want to first start off by saying that the NFA and the GCA, which is currently what regulates machine guns, which FRTs are not, are clearly unconstitutional laws that have no right to even exist. The Second Amendment doesn't say that we have the right to keep and bear arms so long as Congress allows it. It says the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And for me personally, I think every single gun law is an infringement, no matter how small. Now, I first saw this story by John Crump over at AmmoLand News, and here's what's going on. So back on September 22nd of this year, a guy named Erez Avazar was at the Silver Eagle Group Range in Ashburn, Virginia. So again, the Silver Eagle Group Range. The guy is a resident of DC. He'd been a member of the range for about 6 months when this all went down. And keep in mind that he hasn't been convicted of anything yet, so everything here is just alleged at this point. So the guy went to the range and he rented a gun. He took it to the bay and he started to break it down. The RSO, which is the range safety officer, noticed what he was doing and he confronted him. Now, allegedly, this guy told the RSO exactly what he was doing and why, which shouldn't be a problem. But in FUD lore, your grandpa's hunting rifle is pretty much all you can use. Anything else after that is just bad. So again, he asked him what he was doing, and he said that my FRT wouldn't work in mine, so I'm here to see if it basically works in this range gun. The RSO asked where he got it, and the dude said, I printed it. Now, that's not an exact quote, obviously, I'm just paraphrasing, but I mean, you guys get the gist of it. Either way, apparently, the range has a policy that doesn't allow FRTs. So the RFO canceled this dude's rental and they sent him packing. Now get this, 4 whole days later, we're talking 4 days after the incident happened, police in Virginia got an anonymous tip that he was in possession of an FRT and provided the cops with his name and address in DC. So we don't know for sure that it was someone at the range, but I mean, come on, they had his name and address. I think we all know who sent the anonymous tip. And keep in mind that FRTs are legal on a federal level thanks to the NAGR and rare breed triggers who spent years and millions of dollars battling the ATF. It's because of them that we can get them and why people got theirs back. So a huge thank you to them for everything they did to make that happen. Now, it's a different story on the state level. Some states have taken it upon themselves to ban FRTs because, well, they hate our rights, but I don't think Virginia is one of them. As a matter of fact, I'll put a link down below to an attorney's page who I found that kind of breaks that down. So anyway, police show up at this guy's house in DC with a warrant on October 8th and they find multiple printed FRTs, a printer, and some freedom tools, and confiscated everything, including his electronics, his memory cards, and more. And then PD and the ATF interviewed him. Now, get this. During the interview, he actually opened his trap and told the ATF investigator that he is aware that FRTs turn semi-autos into, quote, machine guns. So he was arrested for machine gun possession. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to give you legal advice, but my opinion is you should never talk to law enforcement on your own. If this happens to you, keep your damn mouth shut and request an attorney. Let them talk for you. Definitely don't start blabbing to law enforcement. Number 2, FRTs do not make semi-autos machine guns. They just don't. A machine gun works with a single function of the trigger. That is how it is written in the law. FRTs require a reset of the trigger after every function. So they are categorically different than the current statutory language describes. Either way, this guy now faces years in prison for a victimless and unconstitutional crime because he went to a range and did something that somebody clearly did not like. You know, he shouldn't be in jail, but neither should people like Matt Hoover. I'm still waiting for that one from our, super pro 2A DOJ, but I'm not going to hold my breath. Now, I can't speak for anyone else, but if I was a member of that range, I would cancel my membership immediately and never go back. Ever. Now, I know there's a lot of confusion about the legality of FRTs, and I'm not an attorney, so please don't take this as legal advice. Make sure you talk to an actual attorney if you want more information. But from every bit of research that I've done online, they are legal on the federal level, and that's thanks to Rare Breed and NAGR. Rare Breed was raided by the ATF back in 2022. They kept fighting. They were sued by New York. They kept fighting. Then in 2023, they finally had enough. They teamed up with the NAGR and they filed a lawsuit against the ATF and the DOJ in the Northern District of Texas. And they actually won that case thanks to a judge that most of you are probably familiar with by now, Judge Reed O'Connor. But it was kind of a BS decision because it was another one of those cases where it only applied to the plaintiffs. So it kind of screwed everybody else. Then the ATF and the DOJ appealed to the Fifth Circuit, and with a new, I guess, less hostile administration in office, the DOJ decided to drop the case out of New York and withdraw from the appeal in Texas. Now, the DOJ withdrew from that appeal back in May of this year, and it was not long after that when we got the settlement agreement between the DOJ and Rare Breed, which forced the DOJ to admit that FRTs are not machine guns, which is awesome. So again, after years and millions of dollars, we can now have something that should have been legal all along, and it is at least legal on a federal level. And I honestly think that Rare Breed deserves some recognition for that. Now, as part of the settlement agreement, Rare Breed was told by the DOJ that they could not design an FRT for handguns. So that sucks, but they didn't say that they couldn't design them for other long guns. So now I've heard that Rare Breed is actually designing one for the 1022, the AK, and the MP5, which is freaking rad because the 22 is still cheap enough to go all out without having to sell a kidney or something. But anyway, that's how we got here, and that's why I can say that they're legal on the federal level. They're good to go. Now, as for Ares, again, like many other people who shouldn't be in trouble to begin with, he's going to have to fight for this one. If he gets this right and he gets the right representation, this could end up turning into a massive, a huge 2A battle with major consequences. So we'll see what happens with this one. Anyway, it's a crazy story. I just wanted to share that with you all. And I want to thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below, and let me know what you think about what happened. Do you think it was the range that turned him in? Do you think it was maybe somebody else? What do you think what happened here? And I just want your opinion and your take on this story. So again, let me know down below. Y'all have a great day.